My name is Elena Vasquez. I am 27 years old. And on my second wedding anniversary, in front of 500 guests, my husband raised his hand against me. The sound echoed through that hall like a gunshot. For 1 second, everything stopped. The music, the laughter, the clinking of glasses. 500 people froze, their eyes on me, waiting to see what I would do. Then the laughter started. Not whispers. Not shocked gasps. Full, open laughter. His mother laughed. His father clapped. His friends raised their glasses like something entertaining had just happened. My husband stood there, his hand still in the air, his eyes cold and satisfied. I could have stopped him before it happened. I could have told him the truth 2 years ago. I could have saved myself from all of this pain. But I wanted to know, would he choose me if he thought I had nothing? And tonight, I got my answer. Before I tell you what happened next, what happened when my father walked through those doors, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tell me in the comments, would you have stayed quiet like I did, or would you have spoken up sooner? Now, let me tell you the rest of the story. I met Damian Cruz 2 years before that night. It was nothing dramatic, just another Tuesday at the marketing firm where we both worked. I was the quiet one. The new hire who kept her head down and never talked about her personal life. He was the opposite. Charming. Confident. The kind of man everyone wanted to be around. One day, he walked up to my desk with a coffee cup in each hand. He set one in front of me and said, "You work too hard. Take a break." That was it. One small gesture. But something about the way he looked at me, like he actually saw me, made my chest tighten. We started talking after that. Small conversations at first. Then longer ones. Lunch breaks that stretched into afternoons. Late evenings walking to the train station together. He made me laugh. He made me feel safe. And for the first time in years, I let myself believe that someone could love me for exactly who I was. Not for my family name. Not for my father's money. Just me. One evening, about 6 months into our relationship, Damian asked me about my family. We were sitting on a bench near the river, the city lights reflecting on the water. He held my hand and asked something simple. "Tell me about your parents." I paused. My heart started racing. Because the truth was complicated. The truth was that my father wasn't just any father. He was Victor Vasquez, founder of Vasquez Industries, one of the largest logistics companies in the country. He was powerful, connected, feared by businessmen and respected by everyone who knew his name. But I had seen what that power did to people. I had watched men and women circle around me my entire life, pretending to care, when all they wanted was access to my father. I had been burned before, and I wasn't going to let it happen again. So I made a choice. "I don't really have anyone," I said softly. "My parents passed away years ago. I've been on my own since I was 18. Damian's eyes softened. He pulled me closer and kissed my forehead. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "But you have me now. You'll always have me." I believed him. I didn't know then that my lie would become my protection. And that one day, the truth would become my weapon. We got married 8 months later. The wedding was beautiful, or at least, it looked beautiful from the outside. But from the very first night, Damian's family made their feelings clear. I wasn't what they wanted. His mother, Celeste Cruz, came from old money. His father, Martin Cruz, had built a respectable real estate business. They had plans for their only son, plans that involved a wealthy bride with connections and status. Instead, they got me. An orphan with no family name and no money. At first, the cruelty was subtle. A comment here. A cold look there. "It must be so hard," Celeste would say to her friends within earshot, "having no family to support you. No inheritance to fall back on." Then it got worse. "You're lucky our son chose you," Martin told me at a family dinner 3 months after the wedding. "No one else would have looked twice at someone like you." I looked at Damian, waiting for him to defend me. He kept eating. That was the moment I should have left. But I didn't. Because I loved him. Because I kept hoping that one day, he would remember the man who held my hand on that park bench and promised I would always have him. That day never came. When Damian told me about the anniversary party, something inside me stirred with hope. He said his parents wanted to celebrate our second anniversary in a grand way. 500 guests. A beautiful hall. Music, food, speeches, everything arranged perfectly. For the first time in months, his mother spoke to me kindly. She helped me choose my dress. She smiled at me across the dinner table. She acted like I was finally part of the family. I wanted to believe it was real. I wanted to believe that after 2 years of pain, they had finally accepted me. So I pushed down the small voice in my head that whispered something was wrong. I ignored the way Damien's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. I told myself that tonight would be different. The night of the party arrived. The hall was breathtaking, golden lights, white flowers, long tables covered in silk. Guests arrived in designer dresses and tailored suits. Champagne flowed. Music filled the air. I stood near the center of the room, holding a glass of wine, watching Damien laugh with his friends. He looked happy, proud. Every few minutes, he glanced at me and smiled. For a moment, I truly believed that everything was going to be okay. Then his father stood up and tapped his glass with a fork. The room fell silent. And my heart started pounding. Martin Cruz raised his glass and smiled at the crowd. Tonight, he announced, we celebrate 2 years of marriage. A few people cheered. I smiled nervously. But before we continue, he added, his eyes finding mine across the room, I think it's time for some honesty. The room went quiet. My fingers tightened around my wine glass. For 2 years, Martin continued, my son has carried this family on his back. For 2 years, he has supported a woman who brought nothing into our lives. No money, no connections, no value. Whispers spread through the crowd. My face burned. She has no family, Martin said loudly, pointing at me. No background. No future. She is a leech who has drained my son of everything he built. I looked at Damien. He was staring at his plate. Say something, I whispered. He didn't move. Damien, I said louder. Say something. His father laughed. She speaks, he mocked. The orphan has a voice. Something inside me snapped. 2 years of silence. 2 years of humiliation. 2 years of watching the man I loved refuse to defend me. I stood up. That's enough, I said, my voice shaking but clear. You don't get to speak about me like that. Not tonight. Not ever again. The room gasped. And then Damien stood up. He walked toward me slowly. His eyes, the same eyes that had looked at me with love on that park bench, were now cold. Empty. Dangerous. Sit down, he said quietly. No, I replied. I won't sit down. Not anymore. His jaw tightened. I said, sit down, Elena. Or what? I asked. You'll finally stand up for me? You'll finally tell your father to stop? For a moment, something flickered across his face. Shame? Regret? I'll never know. Because the next thing I felt was the impact. His hand connected with my cheek. The sound echoed through the hall like a thunderclap. My head snapped to the side. My ears rang. My vision blurred for just a second. When I looked back at him, his hand was still raised. His chest was heaving. And behind him, 500 people sat in stunned silence. Then his father started clapping. His mother laughed. And one by one, the room joined them. Not gasps. Not shock. Not a single person standing up to help me. Laughter. They were laughing at me. I could have cried. I could have run. I could have collapsed onto that floor and let them watch me break. But I didn't. Instead, I stood up straight. I lifted my hand and wiped the tear from my cheek. And then I reached into my clutch purse and pulled out my phone. The laughter continued around me. Damien was still standing there, his chest heaving, his eyes daring me to do something. You have no one, he said. No one is coming to save you. I looked at him. Really looked at him. And for the first time, I saw him clearly, not the man I fell in love with, but the man he had always been. You're right, I said quietly. No one is coming to save me. I dialed the number I had memorized since childhood. But someone is coming to end you. The phone rang once. Twice. Then a deep voice answered, calm, controlled, but with an edge that made my chest ache with relief. Elena, my father said. What's wrong? I closed my eyes, took a breath, and said the 3 words I had promised myself I would never say in front of these people. "Dad," I whispered. "Please come." Silence on the line. Then, "Where are you?" I told him the name of the hall. "I'll be there in 2 hours," he said. And then he added something that made my heart steady. "No one touches my daughter," and walks away. The line went dead. I lowered the phone. Damien was staring at me, confusion spreading across his face. "Who was that?" he asked. I smiled. "You'll see." 2 hours passed. The party continued around me, music, laughter, champagne. Damien avoided my eyes. His father made jokes at my expense. His mother whispered to her friends, pointing at me like I was a circus attraction. But I didn't move from my spot near the entrance. I watched the doors. And then, at exactly 11 o'clock, they opened. My father walked in first. Victor Vasquez. 6'3". Dark suit. Silver hair. And the kind of presence that made rooms fall silent without him saying a word. Behind him walked 2 men, his head of security and his personal attorney. At first, no one noticed. The music was still playing. People were still talking. But then someone near the door froze. Then another person. Then another. The silence spread through the room like a wave, until finally the music stopped altogether. 500 people turned to look at the man standing in the doorway. Damien's father squinted. "Who is that?" he muttered. Damien's face went pale. Not pale like he was scared. Pale like he had seen a ghost. "No," Damien whispered. "No, no, no." "Who is he?" Martin demanded. Damien's voice trembled. "That's Victor Vasquez," he said. "The owner of Vasquez Industries. The company where I work. He's the richest man in the city." Martin laughed nervously. "So? What does that have to do with us?" Damien turned to me. His eyes were wide. Begging. "Elena," he said. "Why is your CEO calling you?" I didn't answer. Because my father was already walking toward me. My father stopped in front of me. His eyes moved across my face, searching for damage, searching for pain. And then they landed on my cheek. The red mark. Still visible. Still burning. His jaw tightened. His hands curled into fists. For a moment, I thought he might lose control. But my father didn't get rich by losing control. "Who did this?" he asked. His voice was quiet. Too quiet. No one answered. He turned to face the room. 500 people suddenly found their shoes very interesting. "I asked a question," he said. "Who raised their hand against my daughter?" The silence was suffocating. Then Damien's father laughed, a nervous, desperate sound. "There must be a misunderstanding," he said, stepping forward. "This woman is no one's daughter. She told us herself she has no family. No background. She's a liar." My father turned to look at Martin Cruz. And then he smiled. It was not a nice smile. "She told you she had no family," my father said slowly, "because she wanted to know if your son would love her for who she is. Not for my money. Not for my name." He stepped closer to Martin. "I am Victor Vasquez," he said. "And the company your son works for? The one that pays his salary? The one that made him feel important." Pause. "It belongs to her." The room erupted. Gasps. Shouts. Glasses dropping. Damien looked like he was going to be sick. "No," he kept saying. "No, that's not possible." "She would have told me." "I told you I had no one," I said quietly. "You believed me. And you treated me exactly the way you wanted to." His face crumbled. Damien fell to his knees in front of me. "Elena, please," he begged. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. If I had known who your father was, I never would have." He stopped. Because he realized what he was about to say. If he had known who my father was, he never would have hit me. Not because he loved me. Not because it was wrong. But because of who my father was. "That's the problem," I said softly. "You should never have raised your hand against me regardless of who my father is." He started crying. Begging. Promising to change. I looked at the man I had married. The man I had loved. The man I had given 2 years of my life to. And I felt nothing. My father's attorney stepped forward with a folder. "Mr. Cruz," he said to Damien, "you will submit your resignation to Vasquez Industries by tomorrow morning. Additionally, these are divorce papers. My client's daughter will be filing immediately." Damien's mother finally spoke. "You can't do this," she shrieked. "She's nothing without him. No one will want her now." My father looked at her. "My daughter," he said quietly, "is worth more than your entire bloodline. And she always has been." I picked up my bag. My father put his hand on my shoulder. We walked toward the doors together. Behind us, Damien was sobbing. His father was screaming. His mother was hysterical. I didn't look back. That night, I learned something I should have known all along. Love should never require you to shrink. It should never require you to hide who you are. And it should never, ever require you to accept someone's hand on your face. I spent 2 years pretending to be someone I wasn't, hoping a man would choose me for me. But the truth is, the right person will choose you even when they think you have nothing. And the wrong person? The wrong person will show you exactly who they are when they think you have nothing to lose. My father didn't save me that night. He gave me the strength to save myself. And Damien Cruz? He lost the only person who ever truly chose him. Not because of who my father was, but because of who he was.